Guys, this show is brought to you by MyPillow.com. Please support my sponsor, MyPillow.com. You can give them a call at 800-858-0263. That number, 800-858-0263. Or go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio podcast square at the top of the page and enter my name, Carl. So that is C-A-R-L, all right? Enter my name, Carl, por favor. You'll get all of the deals that are available to you after the new year. There are Giza Dream Sheets that are available for as low as $29.99. You're going to love these sheets. They also have the MyPillow 2.0, the MyPillow 2.0 mattress topper that are on discount as well. If you use my promo code, spell my name, C-A-R-L. Remember, I spell it the correct way, not with a K, as in KKK, but with a... I thought that was pretty funny, Gabe. But with a C. So C-A-R-L, MyPillow.com radio podcast square at the top of the page. Listen, Mike Lindell is a patriot. And also, listen, American jobs. All right, guys, we got to stop sending jobs overseas. They're trying to keep jobs here. You can support them and you can support the podcast. Also, find me on all things social media, please. All right. I'm on X. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook, Truth Social, Getter, wherever I am at the Carl Jackson Show. And if you would please, for those of you that are listening to the podcast, if you would share my podcast and if you would be so kind as to review, give us a review on both YouTube and Rumble. That's going to help us get a little more exposure. We would certainly appreciate that. We appreciate your kindness in doing just that. Okay, so I'm going to move on to other topics here. I want to clarify something that I played yesterday. This was Nikki Haley. And again, tonight, well, not again, but tonight, this is going to be a very important debate. I got some news articles that I want to get into as well. Some other news headlines that I want to talk about. But tonight is going to be a debate of all debates. Listen, guys, even if you're a Trump supporter, I got to be honest, I think this debate is worth watching, in my opinion. I know a lot of people think that at this point, either Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis are vying for VP or maybe 2028. But I think it goes deeper than that. I think that Governor Ron DeSantis, actually, I know this by his record, Governor DeSantis has been by far the most conservative Republican that I've seen in my lifetime that is actually governed, all right? That is actually governed. And yes, and I love Trump, but I'm telling you the truth. And honestly, for those of you that love objective truth, Trump was an amazing president. DeSantis has been an amazing governor. When it comes to policy, I would say DeSantis is probably literally the most conservative politician that I definitely seen in my lifetime. I love Trump too, but I'm just telling you the truth. Don't get mad at me for telling you the truth. So I think this could be, depending on how the race goes in Iowa, okay? I don't necessarily believe the polls in Iowa, but I tend to believe the trends. All right. So you do see Donald Trump with the commanding lead, and I believe there's truth to that, but I'm not convinced that the polling styles and methods that are being used today are correct. So we'll have to see how things play out in Iowa. We'll have to see how things play out in New Hampshire. But I really do believe that the battle between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis is a battle for the future. Listen to me, for the future of the Republican Party. And I much rather the Republican Party be fashioned in the future after a Ron DeSantis as opposed to a Nikki Haley. Because Donald Trump could come in, he could win, but he's only in for one term if he gets elected. And, on day one, I won't say on day one, but within a year, you're going to see all the rhinos that are endorsing him now, they're going to start turning against him. I guarantee you, if he gets elected, they're going to start turning against him once they have to run again, unless he's extremely popular at that time. And the left is going to do everything they can to make sure that that is not the case. So what you're seeing is the future possibly of the party between a Ron DeSantis and a Nikki Haley. I'm not a big fan of Nikki Haley. I made no bones about that. I've said, from the beginning, I like Trump, I like DeSantis. All the others, in my opinion, could kick rocks. When Larry Elder was in, I loved Larry Elder, but his campaign just didn't gain any traction. So without any further ado, let's go ahead. Let's roll this video, and then I want to get to the major topic that I want to get to today, which is, are the Democrat Party preparing the exit of Joe Biden? I ran across a story earlier in the week or over the weekend that I want to talk to you about. And obviously, we've been seeing more and more hits against Joe Biden from the left or from the Democrat Party. But this one really just made me think. And so I want to go through it with you. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this video. Por favor, Gabe. I wanted clarity on this from yesterday. I mucked it up pretty good. And so I want to clear this up. In essence, this is Nikki Haley. She says the retirement age is way, way too low, or at least Governor Ron DeSantis accused her of saying the retirement age is way, way too low, as in it should be raised. She claimed Governor Ron DeSantis was a liar. I didn't think I had the full clip. I don't know where my mind was yesterday. This is enough for me to expose that it's Nikki Haley that straight up lied to your face on Fox News when she was confronted by Brett Baier. But so let's go ahead and clarify this. Go ahead and roll the tape, por favor, Gabe.
So Governor DeSantis is hitting you for claiming the retirement age is, quote, way, way too low. He said, quote, I don't know why she's saying that. So are you saying that? Where do you stand?
I have never once said that.
Well, wait. In Bloomberg interview, you said anyone who says they'll leave America bankrupt, Social Security will go bankrupt, Medicare will. So we don't touch anyone's retirement, but go to people like my kids in their 20s and tell them the rules haven't changed. Change the retirement age to reflect life expectancy.
Yes.
So yes. So she ended by saying yes. No, he's lying. He's lying. But yes, I said it. I didn't even catch that yesterday. So she calls him a liar. She goes on after that to explain how he's lying and what she said. No, I was talking about my kids, but you did say that the retirement age should be raised, that it's too low. Oh, yes. This is a typical politician. This is what I don't like about Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley talks a tough game. She talks a good game, but she's a typical politician, as in there's no conviction there. It's not just policy. Steve Friends, I was at an event with Brandon Straka and Steve Friends over the weekend, former FBI whistleblower. And Steve Friends told me something that I thought was so clarifying. And I knew this instinctively, but I just love the way he framed it. And he said, we were talking after the event, and he said, we need politicians or conservatives that can basically explain the policy, that believe the policy, but they gotta be people of conviction. They can't just say or talk about the policy and not believe it and not be willing to fight for it. They can't back away from it. That's what we see with Nikki Haley. She can explain the policy. She's honestly on the campaign trail. I got to give her credit. I watched that town hall. I watched some of DeSantis's last night. Didn't see the entire thing, but I thought he did a great job. Trump will be on tonight. I'm sure Trump will do a great job. All right. But I look at Nikki Haley and I'm like, man, campaign-wise, she's good. She's good. Now, I think Vivek Ramaswamy knocked her off her rocker a few times, right? But for whatever reason, he's not, well, honestly, I think as more people find out about Vivek's past and some of the inconsistency and flip-flops, once they find out about that, I think they're turned off. But Vivek Ramaswamy is the best communicator I've seen since Reagan. There's no doubt about it. But Nikki Haley is really good. All right? But I just wanted to clarify that. She lied. But she called the other candidate the liar who exposed her and told the truth. That's what you're getting in Nikki Haley. We're watching a campaign. We're watching a campaign. We're not watching governance. All right? There are two people that have great records. Ron DeSantis with an exceptional conservative record. You got Trump with a pretty, a great conservative record. Those are the only two that have really governed conservatively. Nikki Haley talks a good game. I'm just saying. All right. moving on from that, what else do I want to make sure that I share with you guys? Oh, this video. Have you guys seen this video? This video is of James, what is the name? James Madison High School. All right, so James Madison High School students have been forced to resort to remote learning or at-home learning. Yet again, why? Because illegal aliens are having to sleep at their school. So I want you to watch the video, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents right after it. Go ahead, and roll the tape, por favor, Gabe.
Oh, this is cots. This is bed. They're bringing in food. Look. Party. Why not? Why not? I gotta see where my tax dollars are going. Hold on.
All right, so that's it. So that's James Madison High School. Again, students in New York City, James Madison High School in New York City. So students are now going to be forced to resort to remote learning at home all over again, because we've got to make room for the illegal aliens that are coming in. They're being housed there apparently for sleep and for shelter. Instead of being sent back by the Biden administration, instead of being sent back by Alejandro Mayorkas of the Department of Homeland Security. I'm going to do a podcast on the Department of Homeland Security. That institution needs to be taken down. We're way past 9/11. I don't think we need the Department of Homeland Security. Yes, I'll say it. I know conservatives are scared to say it. I don't believe we need the TSA as well. All right. But anyway, so perhaps I'll go into that, do a separate podcast on that. But I definitely want to talk about the Department of Homeland Security, because they're an absolute joke, and they're far bigger than the FBI and the DOJ. I didn't know this until I interviewed Kyle Seraphin. I didn't know that. I was ignorant of it. I completely admit. But let me just opine real quickly on this video of James Madison High School. Guys, your replacements are here. That's what the Biden administration are telling you. Your replacements are here. When you go back, when you watch that video, I want that thought firmly imprinted in your head. Illegal aliens are kicking your kids out of school so they can be housed there. Your replacements are here. The Democrats are saying it loud and clear. I don't know how else to interpret that. We're going to go back to COVID type learning, where kids weren't learning jack crap at home and falling behind. New York City is doing it all again. First they did it for COVID lockdowns. Now they're doing it for illegal aliens, because your replacements are here. Make no doubt about it. What's happening on the border is the importation of Democrat voters, because they know, and we saw it even under Trump Latinos, Latinos for Trump. You know what I'm saying? When Latinos got a taste, we went from Barack Obama to conservative principles with Trump. They got a taste of that economy, the taste of that freedom, and the entrepreneurship that bloomed. They got a taste of that. No foreign wars. We like this better. More family values. So Democrats have to bring in Latinos that don't subscribe to that don't appreciate America, all right, that are a threat to national security. They're doing the exact opposite. So they're replacing you, and they're dumbing down your children. That's what you should take away from that video. All right, moving on. Another video that I want to play real quickly here. Let me get reset before we do. But another video that I want to play real quick. This is what's happening in Canada with journalists or independent journalists or reporters in Canada that don't toe the lines. I want you to watch this video. I forget the gentleman's name, but he is with Rebel News. So I want you to check out this video, and I want you to watch what's coming here, because this is extremely important. You know, you got all these people in mainstream media that talk about how, you know, these independent journalists, they don't have anything on us. You know, journalism is being dumbed down. Meanwhile, all they do is operate like parrots, repeat the same stuff over and over and over again. We know the mainstream media is completely sold out to the DNC. It's insane. You're not getting any great information from them. You're not getting any major revelations from the mainstream media anymore. And so you need independent journalists like this because the mainstream media refuse to do their jobs. If the mainstream media were doing their job, they would have never sat on the Hunter Biden laptop story. They would not be sitting on the Biden corruption story. They would be going after Biden to make sure he's held accountable. Instead, they're doing everything they can to participate in the Destroy Trump movement. This Trump derangement syndrome, it's a real thing. I am convinced that there needs to be training for licensed mental health counselors, psychiatrists, and psychologists alike on Trump derangement syndrome. All right, having said that, let's go ahead and move on to this video. Again, this is a Canadian independent journalist with Rebel News, basically being arrested for doing his job while the Canadian police officers arresting him lie right in front of your face about why he's being arrested. Let's roll the tape, por favor, Gabe.
But first, video of a Rebel News commentator is going viral after he was arrested while questioning Chrystia Freeland in York Region yesterday. The RCMP officer who grabbed David Menzies was quick to say he was being charged with assault. The incident is sparking outrage online from Canada's opposition leader all the way to Elon Musk.
You're under arrest for assault. Why are you pushing me? You're under arrest for assault.
Whether you're a fan of David Menzies or not, it's hard to believe he was arrested after watching this video seen by millions. It all started with a simple and relevant question.
Ms. Freeland, how come the IRGC is not a terrorist group?
The Deputy Prime Minister walking into the memorial service for Canadians killed after the Islamic Revolutionary Guard shot down Flight PS 752 4 years ago. Courts ruling it was an act of terrorism, but the federal Liberals have yet to list the IRGC as a terrorist organization. Outside the memorial, the drama continued.
I was just scrumming Chrystia Freeland.
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge number?
Assaulting a police officer.
How is that possible?
Another man began providing some kind of explanation to Menzies.
You were almost pushing everybody over. That's how it appears.
Lincoln, you got this on video, right? He's saying I'm pushing people over?
Yeah,
that's an absolute falsehood.
There were feet were shuffling.
So now it appeared that way. That's what you're saying, officer? It appeared I was pushing people. I didn't touch a single person.
That was a little bit aggressive for what was happening. Get that. You're under arrest. Please take the microphone out of my face.
Well,
But within seconds, the Rebel News commentator was up against a wall and placed under arrest.
why am I under arrest? I'm just doing my job.
York Regional Police, who are seen in the video, are telling Trending Now the arrest was made by the Prime Minister's RCMP security detail. They say, quote, it was determined that no credible security threat existed, and the subject was released unconditionally shortly thereafter.
Welcome to Black Faces Canada. This is what they do to journalists.
The RCMP telling Trending Now they are looking into the incident and the actions of all parties involved.
This is now a trumped-up charge of assault, folks. I didn't come here to cause any trouble. I came here to do my job, and now I'm handcuffed. This is your Canada now, folks.
The video going so viral, it was even seen by Elon Musk. He took to X, referring to the Liberals and saying they won't make it past the next election.
So I just came here to ask questions.
You're gonna have to back up a little bit, okay? They're conducting an
That's my cameraman, sir. He's not doing anything.
Conservative MP Anna Roberts writing the same reporter questioned me at the same event, and I didn't need him to be arrested. While Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre reposted the video with the message, this is the state of freedom of the press in Canada in 2024, after 8 years of Trudeau.
All right, so after 8 years of Trudeau, that's what you have in Canada. The guy is a wannabe. Actually, he isn't a wannabe anymore. This is the state of Canada. I mean, we are living in absolute scary times. This is North America. This is in our hemisphere, and this is coming to the United States. It already exists to some extent, but the persecution, just like the J6 protesters, the persecution of independent journalists, of conservative journalists, radio talk show hosts, that's what the left would like to do here. And to go back to this guy, David Menzies, I think there was a piece that wasn't displayed well on there. As he was walking and asking one of the ladies, the politicians in Canada, you saw it at the beginning of the video with the microphone. I think what happened is the police officer was out there on the sidewalk, and as he was walking, I think he accidentally scraped the police officer. The police officer said it was assault or something like that and just went after him. I mean, it's absolutely a joke. They've had run-ins with him before trying to question Trudeau, based upon his policies and so on, etc. So that's all that's about. Okay, now, a couple of things that I want to move on to, a couple of things that were just in the news. I'm not gonna go in too deep, but I just want to make sure that I touch on these headlines. There's still outrage over the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin just disappearing for nearly a week without telling people. We now know that it was because he was being treated for prostate cancer and apparently had a urinary tract infection. And so he had to remain hospitalized, but he didn't tell the White House. He didn't tell the National Security Council. But I thought about this and it hit me through the night. I wonder if he told Barack and Michelle Obama if he was taking time away. Just marinate on that. I wonder if the Secretary of Defense informed Barack and Michelle Obama that he'd be taking some time away. Just a thought. Okay, now, a couple of things that I want to mention, and I'll dive into this a little further in just a second. But I think this is pretty cool news. I think this is a win for free speech, and I think this is why the left largely hates Elon Musk. So there's news today. Where is it? Okay, I passed the story. I missed the story. So basically, X is allowing some new shows, putting some new shows onto X. So now you're going to have a show with Don Lemon, formerly of CNN. Listen, I'm not a Don Lemon fan, but I am a fan of free speech. And if people want to go see Don Lemon and whatever he has to say on X, they're free to do so. This is a free country, or somewhat of a free country under Joe Biden. But I think that's good news. I think that's a win for free speech. And Elon Musk is showing that, hey, listen, I'm not, whether it's on the left or the right, this is a place for free speech. America, this is our right, our God-given right, free speech is a God-given right, and it should not be taken away by any government force. You're free to change the channel. People can debate freely. We should be able to debate with civility. I should be able to disagree with Don Lemon. He should be able to disagree with me, but we should be able to have debates on policy issues. And so hopefully that America will return someday in the near future. Tulsi Gabbard is going to have her own show on X. I figured that was coming. Jim Rome, who's a very popular sportscaster, he's going to have his show going to X. So that is good news for free speech. I think that's good news for X after they've endured a lot of criticism from the left and the Biden administration trying to go after him. Dr. Fauci claims that he did not recall, quote unquote, the origins of COVID. Of course, he would say that. That's according to Just the News. Dr. Anthony Fauci said he quote unquote did not recall important information or conversations more than 100 times during his first day of a 2-day transcribed interview. He didn't recall. He didn't say he didn't have them. He just didn't recall them with the House Coronavirus Select Committee. But he also revealed major failures in the U.S. health system. Chairman Brad Wenstrup, a Republican from Ohio, said, quote, Dr. Fauci's testimony today uncovered drastic and systematic failures in America's public health systems. Wenstrup, It's a quote. Wenstrup said Monday after Fauci, former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, met with the subcommittee earlier that day. So he doesn't recall. The guy was involved in gain of function. He knew exactly what he was doing. In 2011 or 12, he wrote a column about gain of function, and he thought the risks were worth the rewards. All right. The guy is evil. The guy, in my opinion, deserves the death penalty. And I'm not saying that to try to be hyperbolic, and I think he does. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he lied about it, and he tried to cover it up. As simple as that. All right, now, let's move on real quickly here. I want to go to Biden. Is the left preparing us for a Biden exit? I want you to think about that. Oh, also more fallout from that Fannie. I talked about that yesterday, that Fannie scandal where she hired her lover to be the special prosecutor. Come to find out that guy was a personal injury attorney, Cobb County. He wasn't even qualified for the job. But they used that $654,000 that she paid him to live a life of luxury, traveling, California, Napa Valley, traveling to places in Florida, taking some, exclusive cruises on Norwegian and Royal Caribbean, just living it up while she hired him. So that's a crime, and hopefully both of them will be prosecuted. All right, now, having said that, this Joe Biden thing, I'm trying to find something that I saw earlier here. Give me just a second. Article by Jonathan Turley that kind of backs up the point that I want to make. Let me see if I can see it in the headlines on Real Clear Politics real quick. But I'm going to resort back to a column that I found that was printed right after Chris. Actually, it's been a couple weeks now. On December 29th, but it was by NBC News. And I read through this column and I was like, these people are trying to pave the way. They want Biden to go. It's one of these situations where it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. They're concerned about the ramifications of letting Biden go, because it would mean chaos in the before the election for the Democrat Party. But at the same token, his approval rating, I'm reading the average right now, is 39.9%. He's not doing well. He's not polling well with blacks, Latinos, the younger voters, and Democrats are absolutely running scared because they totally buy into the polls. Oh, here it is, Turley. Jonathan Turley, who is a Democrat. He's a law professor I believe it's at George Washington University. And the title is it worth the cost of Dems to keep shielding Biden? And I think that's what you're seeing more and more of occur. Man, I got to give Jonathan Turley props. We don't agree politically, but the guy is an honest broker. This is the kind of liberal I could deal with. You know what I'm saying? He's an honest broker. All right, so NBC News, 5 twists that could upend Democrats' best laid plans for the 2024 election. I think they are trying their best. Live, man, we may have to get rid of this fool. Number one, they asked the question, what if Biden drops out? Because everyone is predicting right now that it's going to be a heads up between Trump and Biden. But right now, if you look at the polls, Donald Trump is kicking his butt in the polls. Democrats are terrified of that. Everything that they've thrown at Trump, they're like, oh my God, it's not working. We may need to resort to plan B. So now the question is, what if Biden drops out? They say it can't happen. Can it? Pose it as a question. So they say there's no way the president would go home to Delaware and voluntarily give up an office he pined for his entire political career. And I think they're right. I don't think he would. Yeah, or I don't think Joe Biden would. Joe Biden isn't in his right mind, but I don't think Joe Biden would want to do it. But they go on to say that's the conventional thinking in Washington anyway. What if Biden takes a hard look at his poll numbers and concludes he'd rather bail than risk losing to Trump, the GOP frontrunner? Listen, I don't think that guy has that type of humility in him. I don't think that's an issue. The second question they asked, or if he is feeling every bit his age, 81, and no longer wants all the travel and stress that come with the job. The guy has no clue what's going on. I don't think that's an issue. I think he enjoys having his butt wiped and, his dogs biting people and flying on Air Force One and Marine One and eating all the ice cream that he wants and all the different food that he wants. I think he enjoys all of that. You know what I mean? Especially since listen, when you're dealing with a person that has dementia, it's so clear. Even conservatives, we shouldn't say no. It's so clear. All right, it's so clear that the guy is suffering from different stages of dementia or Alzheimer. Don't even gaslight us. But they say 3. What if he decides the negative attention heaped on his one surviving son Hunter would subside if he just took himself off the ballot and retired from politics? Well, Hunter isn't going to have that because Hunter is a crackhead, and Hunter wants the influence that his father is able to bring them. And by the way, this hasn't mattered before. All of the bad press that Hunter has gotten, which isn't, it's just factual press, I guess. all Joe Biden has said is, listen, I love my son. And then you saw the mainstream media run with that narrative. This is a man that loves his son. All right. Democrats are used to deciding who their nominee will be, but it's a possibility that the party bosses could decide it. And I think NBC is trying to soften voters up for this, right? Because it may be a possibility. If he sinks too low in the polls, I think they got to throw Joe overboard. All right. Here's issues that an early departure would cause, according to the article. One, more than half of the filing deadlines to compete in party primaries and caucuses will have passed. But remember, I've talked to you guys about this before, where with the superdelegates and the way the DNC works, literally they could go all the way to the Democrat National Convention. They can choose their nominee, Joe Biden. They can certify it, make it official, all of that good stuff. And Joe Biden could choose to hand his delegates to virtually whomever he wants. Now, there'll be some infighting there and squabbling, but eventually the Democrats will work it out. They could give those delegates to Gavin Newsom or whomever they wanted. All right. Obviously, it also says another issue, depending on when the president were to exit the race, candidates would be jockeying to win over Biden delegates. All right. I mentioned that, who suddenly found themselves without a candidate. All right. So the other thing is VP Kamala Harris would be the heir apparent. They write. She checks all of the identity boxes for them. They didn't say that. These are my words. And she'd have much of the party's base. So she would have a good number of support of the party's base. I don't think it would be enough, but I do think they would be hesitant to throw Kamala Harris overboard because she's biracial and she's a certified owner of a vagina. So that would be difficult for them to throw her overboard. But would they throw Kamala Harris overboard if it meant they thought they could win in 2024, this year, the election in November? Yes, I think they would. All right, now, here's another thing. A white male candidate who came along and challenged Harris would endure fierce backlash, they write, from party activists who would want to see her break the ultimate glass ceiling. But ambition and the cold realities of national politics would combine to deny Harris a clear field. Basically, they're saying she's whack. All right. They didn't want to write that, so I'll just spell it out. She's whack. They know it. And Gavin Newsom has done absolutely everything he can to run a shadow campaign, whether that's for in case Joe Biden drops dead or if that's 2028. He has been running a shadow campaign to try to make sure that he comes out as the front runner. And frankly, when he was doing that and debating DeSantis, he got his butt kicked in that debate with DeSantis, but still he was getting his name out there because Gavin Newsom is a big name in California and the West Coast. But I think he struggles with the same thing DeSantis struggles with. Even though DeSantis has been amazing for Florida, it's much harder to get your name out there for national recognition, especially when you have a Donald Trump in the race and a Joe Biden that has amazing name recognition, like 100% name recognition, right? But it also says this, despite Biden's negatives, his name recognition may be enough for the party alone. All right, so I had already covered that, but that's true. He has great name recognition, and so that may help the Democrats. They're banking on you bring in a Gavin Newsom. People are going to have to get to know Gavin Newsom who do not know Gavin Newsom. And I know political junkies like yourself and myself are like, how could they not know that? But believe me, guys, we're a very small percentage of people. Number two, all right, I'll go through these quickly. So the first thing I think NBC is trying to brace people for a Biden exit is, again, they ask the question, what if Biden drops out? Another thing they say, okay, but what if Biden stays in? All right, so that's number two. That's the question number two. But they say, look, listen, July 26th must have been an uncomfortable day at Biden campaign headquarters. Why? Mitch McConnell, Mitch the Glitch. Whoever caught him that, amazing. All right, so Mitch the Glitch. Remember when Mitch froze up in that little town hall meeting or whatever that was? Someone asked him a question and he was like, oh. So Democrats are scared, like, okay, Biden is probably in worse shape than Mitch McConnell. What if he does that on national television? Or imagine if something bad happens. They write about a brain freeze, right? That's basically what we saw with Mitch McConnell. A bad fall on the steps of Air Force One. They've already got him using the lower steps instead of the high steps on Air Force One. A speech that devolves into gibberish. We've seen that plenty. All right. We've seen that plenty. So that's number 2. Number 3, they says, what if Elon Musk comes out with a super duper PAC against Joe Biden? They're concerned about that. See, they're concerned about X. All right. They're concerned about X, formerly known as Twitter. I still like Twitter better. I'm sorry. But they're concerned about X. The left is concerned about free speech. You know, Elon Musk's mom is coming after Biden. Like, basically, I'm paraphrasing. How could you do this to my son when he's done all of this to, make America better? Energy, green energy. They buy into this stuff. I don't. But nonetheless, I'm just. She posted, what did she post? Okay, her name is May Musk. Here's what she wrote on social media. So they say Elon Musk super duper PAC. What if that messes Biden up? So Elon Musk's mom is mad, and that could be a problem for Biden. They write. May Musk took to her son's social media platform on December 13th to write that Elon Musk's goal is, quote, is to make this world a better place, close quote. But she wrote, quote, at POTUS wants to stop him. Have you any idea how furious I am? People in other countries are proud of Elon and do not understand this U.S. president's motives, close quote. All right. So why did his mom take to Twitter? Well, she found out, or we found out, or what they wrote, that her post was in response to Brendan Carr, who's the Republican commissioner of the FCC, who insinuated that Biden wants to mobilize the federal bureaucracy against Elon Musk, citing the FCC's decision on December 12th that affirmed a 2022 ruling denying Musk SpaceX satellite company nearly $900 million in rural broadband subsidies. All right. I'm not a big fan of Elon Musk getting subsidies, but anyway, that's the deal. So his mom is like, why are you denying him these subsidies? He's making America and the world a better place, so on, etc. Biden has pointedly ignored. Some people blame the fact that Biden has ignored Tesla at every turn and falsely stated that to the public that GM leads the electric car industry. We all know that's a joke. Listen, I hate electric cars. If I had to get one, which Lord willing, I will never have to, it would be a Tesla. I think they're the only ones that actually look decent, and a lot of people like them. Anyway, all right, so that's one issue. Here's another issue they're talking about: housing gridlock. Oh, let me just say this. Let me circle back real quick. Speaking of X, I already mentioned it. Don Lemon, Tulsi Gabbard, Jim Rome. All right, so that's why they fear X. Free speech. The left wants to censor speech because they cannot run on their ideas. That's why they continue to try to fearmonger. That's why they have Michelle Obama out there. I'm terrified. You ain't terrified of nothing. Stop lying. All right, so that's why they have her out there. Now they're talking about the housing gridlock. They're talking about housing concerns. Remember, You Will Own Nothing and Be Happy? Carol Ross' book. All right, so they're talking about that now. But they write, NBC does, how home prices have spiked 47%. New buyers are being priced out of we've been talking about this forever. So they say homeowners who want to move up are stuck in place as well. New buyers find themselves unable to get into the housing market. So now all of a sudden they're concerned about the housing market under Biden. They weren't reporting on this stuff before. They were. Let me take that back. But it was as if Biden's policies had no connection. It's crazy. And then now, look at this one. So that was what? That was Elon Musk was 3. They're concerned about an Elon Musk super PAC. That's number 3. Housing gridlock was number 4. That they're concerned about. The left is mainstream media, NBC. All of a sudden. Oh, now look at looky here. Access of hackers. They're concerned about an access of hackers getting together to spoil the 2024 election. Now, this one sounds to me like the left is making an excuse in case Biden does stay in and they lose. They're telling you right now, they're playing the Russia collusion hoax all over again. That's what they're telling you. All right. These people are in cahoots with the DNC. There's no difference between mainstream media and the DNC. And now we know the DOJ, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the CIA, they're all one. We're running against all of them in 2024. And I think these people are letting you know. They say Russian election meddling once seemed like something from a dystopian future, by next year it may seem quaint. They say the 2024 election could feature attempted meddling by a variety of countries looking to shape American leadership to their liking. In a November report, Microsoft's Bill Gates Threat Analysis Center wrote, quote, election 2024 may be the first presidential election during which multiple authoritarian actors simultaneously attempt to interfere with and influence an election outcome. And guys, just so you know, the whole there was Russian election interference, that whole narrative. It was like, what was it, 700-800 bots on Facebook? That's what they were talking about. Had no impact on the election whatsoever. None. Zero, zilch, nada. But it's just a narrative. It's placed in that narrative. They write, the usual suspects are Russia, Iran, and China, but with tension rising in the Middle East, any number of Gulf states could also try to seize the opportunity this time around. These people are absolutely nuts. But again, I think they're preparing for a Biden exit were it to occur, and with the last an excuse just in case he has to stay in and loses. It's all because of Russia, Iran, and China interference. So again, number one, what if Biden drops out? This from NBCNews.com. They asked the question, okay, but what if Biden stays in? And they start talking about age and Mitch the Glitch McConnell. Elon Musk, super duper PAC. They're concerned about Elon Musk. They're not concerned about a super duper PAC. They're concerned about X. They're concerned about free speech. But they mention that, and then they also mention the housing gridlock. So they're taking it to them. They are taking it to them. They are trying, in my opinion, to make sure that Biden isn't the nominee, but they're running against the clock. And so since they're running against the clock, they give themselves an out with the axis of hackers. It will be, if Biden loses, it won't be because of his policies that have destroyed America, that have destroyed our economy, that have sent the world in a, war type setting. It won't be because of that. It'll be because of Russia, China, and Iran hackers. Guys, listen, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Again, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. We're on Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Guys, also, please support my sponsor, Mike Lindell, MyPillow.com. Giza Dream Sheets available for only $29.98. 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. You can give them a call, 800-858-0263. 1-800-858-0263. Mention my name, Carl, or go to the Radio Podcast Square on mypillow.com or click on the Radio Podcast Square. Enter my name, Carl, with a C, C-A-R-L, and all of the deals that are available on mypillow.com will become available to you. So please check them out. Guys, until next time, do not grow weary doing good, and God bless you.